Hello, everyone. Welcome again to another Teacher Joseph podcast. We're going to go through a story today, which I think you'll find interesting. For those of you who love Stonehenge, you'll like this story. Um, it was originally thought that the stones from Stonehenge came from Wales, but it's now been discovered that these stones actually came from Scotland. And there's a big story here saying, well, how did they manage to move stones from Scotland to southwest England? Bearing in mind that the weight was around 6 tons. Now, we're referring here to the altar stone, which is one of the main stones on Stonehenge, and we're going to read all about it now. So if you're a fan of Stonehenge, then you'll enjoy this. By the way, the word fan, I was mentioning that people who like pigeons in my weekly lesson, the word fan comes from the word fancier. A pigeon fancier is someone who enjoys the company of pigeons and raises them and breeds them. So we have the word fan. I'm sure you know what a fan is. A Taylor Swift fan is known as a Swiftie. I'm a big fan of food. I love to try different types of food. And then, of course, we also have fans of places like Stonehenge. We also have fans on social media. Right, so the belief that these stones came from Wales has been cancelled, and we're now assuming that these stones came from Scotland at Stonehenge. So let's read through this. It says here, Stonehenge's 6-ton slab came by sea from Scotland. The iconic altar stone at Stonehenge came from Scotland, not Wales, as previously thought, and may have been transported by sea, a study has found. Research into the giant rock also suggests that long-distance trade networks existed in the Neolithic period some 5,000 years ago, say scientists. It had been believed that the 6-ton slab probably originated in Wales, but Australian scientists now think that it hails from northeast Scotland, more than 460 miles from the Stonehenge site on Salisbury Plain. Oh, interesting. And the story goes on to speculate how they actually moved these stones. Nobody knows, and the person who's doing the investigating, he goes on to say, this discovery holds personal significance because he grew up in Wales, and then it talks about when he first visited Stonehenge. I'm not sure why that's relevant, to be honest. Isn't the story all about the stones? Yeah, so this part about, oh, this discovery holds personal significance. I grew up in Wales, where I thought Stonehenge's stones came from. I first visited Stonehenge when I was 1 year old. Who cares? Okay, let's ignore this part and just go on to the relevant bit. It says, the study was done in collaboration with Aberystwyth University, I guess that's in Wales, Adelaide University, I suppose that's in Australia, and University College London. Professor Richard Bevans of Aberystwyth said the findings overturn the century-old view of the stone's origin. He says here, the hunt will still very much be now to find out exactly where in Scotland the stone came from and also how they were moved. There's some suggestion here that they may, these stones, this particular stone, of course, they're not talking about all of them. This particular stone may have been moved by sea, and it weighs 6 tons. Interesting. Yeah, there's been other people speculating about how they moved the stones to Stonehenge. One person in other news stories are suggesting that perhaps it was aliens or some kind of supernatural method that they had. But this story about that altar stone, which is just saying that they've discovered it came from Scotland, it comes from today's Daily Express, today, Thursday, August the 15th. And yeah, I suppose one day they'll know exactly, but I would guess, and this is just one of these theories that I have, but they had nothing else to do in those days, so they probably were able to line up thousands upon thousands of men to actually move these stones. I mean, 400 miles, if you have, oh no, I'm really bad at mathematics, but let me think about this. If you had 400 men, okay, and you just pushed the stone between them for even seconds at a time till it moved to the next hand, wouldn't you be able to do it that way? No? I don't know. I mean, the wheel, I don't think was even invented in those days, was it? So, could have been by ship, but I can't imagine a boat being strong enough to hold something like that. And they still would need to carry it from the coast all the way to Stonehenge. So, no, I think people probably carried it, no? That not be the kind of obvious thing. Or maybe they dragged it on some slabs. But yeah, I very much doubt it was of supernatural origin. They're saying here that perhaps aliens moved it. Gee, of course they did. Um, yeah, so that's today's story of Stonehenge. Yeah, there's another story today from, this is from the Daily Star, about Atlantis. Something very similar. It's saying here, boffins, that just means experts. It's one of these words which English people use. It's not a common UK word, it's very specifically English. When they're referring to experts, people who think a lot about particular topics, they call them boffins. Boffins believe they have found the lost island of Atlantis. The mythical spot submerged by the gods was written about by Plato, and they found sunken islands near the Canaries. And some women here, Louise Somoza, actually I think it's a man, Louise Somoza, yeah, said this could be the origin of the Atlantis legend. So again, no proof there, but very interesting story just the same. Yeah, so we've been talking about Stonehenge, and we've really just been saying that Stonehenge, one of the main stones, which is called the altar stone. By the way, an altar is where you sacrifice animals. That word is often used in some churches where the sacrifice of the Holy Mass takes place. So very interesting, very interesting. And we've just been reading that story there from the Daily Express, and then we were reading another one from the Daily Star. This news about the stone from Stonehenge is in most of our media today. We're going to read the same story, and this time this one is from The Independent, dated today. And it says, new light has been shed on the origins of the world famous movement. new light. So that just means new information. It says here, remarkable new research at Stonehenge has revealed an extraordinary new mystery. Mineral tests on the massive 6-ton stone at the heart of the monument shows that this central rock was brought to Stonehenge from Scotland. The altar stone is arguably the most ritually important stone in Stonehenge because it's the rock that marks the intersection of two important celestial alignments, the winter solstice and the summer solstice. Oh, really? So interesting, isn't it? It says here that they already know that some stones come from Wales, but moving a rock from northern mainland Scotland or Orkney would have been a journey of 500 miles. So they're wondering how they got those stones moved, and they're suggesting it may have been by sea. They're saying here there must have been some political or religious reason. It says a newly revealed Scottish link implies that 4,500 years ago there was at least some political or religious cooperation across Britain. So they were all helping each other. The Neolithic people who transported the 6-ton rock from northern Scotland or Orkney to southern England must have known that Stonehenge existed or that it was being expanded. Precisely what shape and size of rock was required. It says here, the fact that despite being at the opposite ends of Britain, people must have known about Stonehenge and its monument. That's people in the north and the south. Dragging a 6-ton rock across mountains, hills, valleys, and at least 30 rivers for well over 500 miles would have taken several years to accomplish. So it seems likely, it seems unlikely the rock was brought over land. It's far more probable it was brought by sea, a journey that would have taken a few months. Okay, and now they're saying, well, many prehistorians would have assumed that there would have been a boat that could carry such a stone. I don't see how you could have a boat that carries a rock that weighs so much. It says here, they're speculating what the boat may have looked like, that it probably had rollers. And then it's saying, why did the Neolithic builders of Stonehenge want a northern Scottish rock? Well, why not? Scottish rock's beautiful. It says here, at present, there's no way of knowing for certain the answer. Well, I would guess it's, if they've got rock from Wales and rock from Scotland, maybe they were doing the whole northeast, southwest points of the compass. That's what I would do anyway, if I was building a monument like this. It says here, it's conceivable that they wanted to ensure that the central feature came from Orkney. Or maybe that stone was already being used in the north because there are standing stones in Orkney. And then they really are speculating here. I mean, nobody knows why it was built. So they're saying that this is a bit of a game changer for what people know. And then it says here, it's been a 2-year voyage of discovery for me and my colleagues. Yeah, well, nice of you to tell us that, but we're only really interested in the stones. Um, Stonehenge really is a mystery that we keep discovering new things about. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Well, I just love the theory that Stonehenge was a sound chamber with some early kind of recording studio or a way to bounce sound off the walls. I think they've already established that sound played a major part of it, but only in the same way as it does in an old church. So, yeah, but who knows? Maybe it was for their entertainment. We just don't know. Gathering around, watching the stars. Well, better than watching your internet screen or your Wi-Fi dying, isn't it? So, yeah, they probably just had very nice lives. You know, you go out hunting. And maybe a Stone Age man needed a little entertainment at night time after a day of stealing and pillaging. Who knows? Um, there we are. So that's today's story, which is all about Stonehenge. I hope you've enjoyed this. Let's talk again soon. See you. Bye.